What's going on, YouTube? We're back at it for another video, and today we've got the best stash spots for Yantar. Now, there's not too many stash spots out here, but it seems every time there's not too many, the loot's actually way more worthwhile when it comes to each one of the stash spots. But that being said, we've got more than a few things to cover, so let's get straight into it. Now, the first location in Yantar that we're going to be heading is in the southwest portion over here at the tunnel under the lake, and there's only 3 items we'll need to grab up over here, but let's head over there now. Now, once you made it over to the location, do be prepared, as there will be more than a few armed guys inside of here that you'll need to deal with. Thankfully, we've already taken them out just for the purpose of making this video a little bit faster, but as soon as you come down here, there's more than a few of them you'll have to take out. Not too hard, a little bit of cover coming in. Suggest just running straight over to the actual rail car and then taking them out. But over here on the left side, we'll come into this room with the computer over here on our left. And on our right, we'll have 2 of the high-capacity magazines for the BUKET S2 and a full durability integral A. Now, this is about all that we'll get at this location. A little bit strange that we'd get 2 of those high capacity mags, but it's going to be well worth your while. Now, there is something over here that seems to be a portion of a puzzle to unlock something else, but I believe this may be a part of a side quest or a main mission later on. So I'll probably cover that a little bit later on, or let somebody know down in the comments below. Not trying to spoil anything, but there is clearly something over here that could lead further. Our next stash spot location is going to be northwest of this, over in the junkyard or the scrapyard, boneyard, whatever you'd like to call it. Over here, just to the right of the railroad itself, we'll have a little bit of a sunken water portion over here with a bunch of buses, and at the northernmost point is where we'll need to grab up our next location. But let's head over there now. Now, once we've made it over to the location, we'll need to head to the other end of where the buses are, as we'll need to start doing a little bit of a jumping puzzle here, and you'll already tell that we've got more than a few of those anomalies we'll need to pop as we go along, just to make sure that we can get on top and keep moving forward. So we'll just keep popping those as we go across. A couple of them pretty much easily directly in the main path for us, and we'll be able to easily just push our way all the way to the other end. Now, the last anomaly is going to make it to where we basically need to get to this body on the left and this bag and immediately hit take all, so make sure you've got enough space inside of your inventory to grab these up, as this one does end up being a little bit irritating that we've got to do a little bit of time management here, but we'll just hit that take all, and then, oh god, it still hit me anyway. But the big item that we're actually going to be taking from this is going to be a SAIGA shotgun. Now, sadly enough, it's not for full durability, but if you don't already have one of these, it's a good one to actually grab up if you'd like a decent full auto weapon besides the SPAS 12, but that ends up having the magazine loader instead of actually ended up having the shell, or just one shell at a time. But it is very frustrating that you have to come over here and then hit take all in order to get most of that. Now, I hate to say it, but I scoured this entire location looking through every single window, doorway, underneath vehicles, and even across all of these helicopters, and that was about the only location with somewhat halfway decent loot besides just straight up resources, ammunition, and that's about it. No blueprints, no other weapons, no armor. I couldn't find anything out here. Let me know down in the comments below if you did find anything, because I went from each one of these cars down each line looking through each one of the windows, and I just came up with nothing but resources, and some of the jump puzzles over here to get onto some of the back rudders of some of these to grab up the stash were a lot harder, and you would expect them to end up either having a weapon in there or blueprint, but didn't yield anything other than some ammunition and resources. A bit irritating. But from that point, our next stash spot is going to be north up the road over here on the west, or the west side towards the bank, over here at the trailer dump. So we'll just need to head up the road directly north, and we'll get to these crates over here. But let's head over there now. Now, once you've made it over to the location, all we'll need to do is head towards the middle portion of the crates over here, and head up this ladder on the left side. And inside of this little trailer over here on our left, we'll have our big stash box over here. And once we get inside, we'll have a blueprint for the SVA-1 suit, which we will be picking up here shortly, but I believe this is to increase the carry weight of the suit itself, giving us the capability of putting this upgrade on at any one of those technicians later on. Now, for our next stash location, all we're going to need to do is actually head northwest along the road, and over here, this little concrete structure over here with this little bus that's crashed over the side is where we're going to need to head next. So let's head over there now. Now, once you've made it over to the location, we'll need to head over to the bus, and you will need to pop out a grenade, as you may already hear why we need this. And you'll notice just down below us, we've got more than a few of those rats to deal with, so what we're going to do is just toss a grenade down on in there, clean up all of them real quick. Now, inside of here, there may be some resources for you to grab up, or if you don't already have a grenade, sometimes you'll be able to find it in this little stash bag back here. But in order to get down there, all we're going to need to do is crouch jump into this little window right here. And you'll notice we have one of those floating rock anomalies down here, so we'll just need to jump on down to that so we don't end up killing ourselves, and then we'll be able to head into the door over here on our left. Now once we head inside, there's a good bit of resources for you to grab up, but over here specifically on our left inside of this case, or this little stash spot over here, we will end up getting the blueprint for the PSZ-9D duty armor with the CAMEL hydration system, which I believe gives us the capability of upgrading this suit of armor, giving ourselves another 10% increase to our stamina, but I could be wrong on that. Let me know down in the comments below if I'm correct on that one. But after you've grabbed that one up, we'll need to head over to our right, over to this door code over here, or input this door code, and the code's going to be 5578, and just behind here we've got two items to grab up. First thing on our left is actually going to be the attachment for the RP74, which gives us the capability of having that 500 round magazine for the RP74M that you may have seen with the Glutton from one of my previous videos over in Rostock. But if you find another one of those RPMs that you want to upgrade, or possibly just want to have two of them with maximum ammunition available and just start going crazy on people and having two to swap in and out by the time one of them loses durability, not a bad option for you. But just after that, over here on our right, we'll have a full durability KHAROD, as well as a good bit of ammunition for it. But I haven't used this weapon yet. I'm going to be upgrading this one for later playthroughs myself, but I can't wait to give this one a try and get some of those upgrades on it. But I can't wait to give it a try. Now from that point, if you're looking to exit from here, we'll need to hit this lever over here, and this is going to release the ladder on the left side. If you kind of searched the location before, you may have noticed that there was a ladder over here, but you weren't able to go down it as it was locked in place, and this is the way we'll actually end up being able to exit and start heading towards our next stash location. Looks like I've got a bloodsucker to deal with. I'll see you at the next stash location. Now our next stash spot location is actually going to be just northeast of this, over here at the Yantar production complex, and we'll actually have two inside of here. You can get an artifact from the flame anomalies over here in the middle if you'd like to, but we've got one over in this building to the center, and then over to our right we'll have another little bit of a jump puzzle to grab up to for this improvised hidey hole. But that being said, let's head over now. Now once you made it over to the location, the building over on our left may have some friendly units inside of there to help you out a little bit later on, but the main building we're going for first is going to be this one back here with the broken windows on the right. What we'll need to do is just keep heading straight forward until we've gotten to the back side of that building, and then we'll be able to enter it and start heading for that prime loot inside. Now there may be a couple of zombies we'll have to deal with around this corner or inside this building, so do be prepared for that. They will have some decent armor on them, so if you have some armor piercing rounds, that would be worthwhile. It looks like we won't have any just yet. From this point we'll need to keep heading on up. There will be a locked door on our left right here that we'll be able to unlock shortly. We'll just head straight all the way up, and over here on our left inside of this room we can actually just jump down right here, grab up a little bit of loot if you'd like to, and then we'll be able to head on out and just unlock that door we just had before. If you want a little extra loot out of this, I figured I'd just throw it in there since it's just so quick to get done. But we need to head all the way up to the top of the roof. Now from this point we'll need to open this door. Sometimes it doesn't look like it opens, but if you just walk forward it will open for you instead of just swinging on out. Now there's a box up top here if you'd like to grab up some more resources that's available for you. But from this point we'll head over to the left side of the building and then drop down on top of this little metal railing over here, or window, and you'll notice we've got more than a few zombies just down below us. Now, oh goodness, I don't have any grenades. We're gonna have to just finish them off the old-fashioned way and then head on down there to grab up the loot. Armor piercing rounds. Well, we can just land the shot right there. But from this point, you want to actually blow this thing up, as that's giving the zombies a little bit more strength, or I guess that's calling them in, not 100% certain. But I always destroy those things. But over here on our right is going to be the loot that we're really looking for, which is going to be the SVA-1 suit. Now this thing is actually better than the armor I've got right now that we found over in Rostock. It'll end up giving us a bit more of that physical protection and that side protection at a little bit of a cost to our radiation protection, but we can upgrade that later on to make this suit even better when it comes down to the radiation protection. But the SEVA-1 suit, we also got that one blueprint for this as well, but I'll be upgrading to this one. It's going to be a fantastic one, and it's got the same capability of having 5 of those slots for each one of those artifacts to give us a bit more build diversity later on, and a solid piece of armor. And from that point, we will have a bit of resources just behind that we'll be able to grab up. And just off to the right of that, if you're a little bit of loot fiend like me, the Hercules is right there if you don't already have some of that weird water giving you the maximum loadout carry. But from that point, we'll be able to open up the door back here and then head right on out over to our second stash location over here. So what we'll need to do is just head out to the back right, or head out the back door, head over to the right, and then we'll be going over behind this wall over here, and then head a little bit forward, take a left over here, keep going straight forward until we make it to this break in the fence, and then head left again and around over to these buildings. And just back here, hidden behind the brush, we've got a ladder that we can climb up on top of. Now the loot we're going for is all the way up on that broken railing up there that I'd probably never in my life want to walk on top of. But from this point, we'll head forward, get up on top of this piping over here. We will need to duck down just in front of us. Do be careful about falling off. That's quite the ankle break right there. Looks like we've got more than a few mutants over on our left that they're dealing with. But thankfully, the friendly units over there are taking care of that. But from this point, we'll jump up and we'll have a ladder in front of us. Keep heading up on that, and then over to our left is where we'll find our route to our next piece of loot. I believe we will need to jump across right here. There will be a little bit of a jump, but thankfully it's not too worrisome. And over here we'll get a full durability GP37 with one attachment already on it. Now I'm not sure what the attachment is specifically, but it's well worth having another one of these at full durability for either upgrading for yourself or possibly selling for a decent amount of coupons later on. And then from that point, if you want to... Oh god. And then from this point, do be careful trying to jump back across, as apparently it can be pretty detrimental to you, but if you'd like to have a fun little exit for this, you know... Now apparently jumping back over across is a little bit more difficult than I thought, and this is the third attempt, so we're going to make this as simple as possible, as all I'm trying to do is just let everybody know that, you know, there's a fun way to exit this. So apparently we need to jump on this little railing right here and then walk across and not have, very horrible moment of going back to a previous save, and then we'll just need to head all the way over back to the ladder, drop on down without having to slide down it, and then over here on our right we'll have a little bit of a slide exit. Now this one definitely won't end up killing you, thankfully, but that definitely took way too many tries beforehand. But let's move on to our next stash spot. Our next stash spot location is actually going to be just east of that, over here at this chasm. You may have noticed it already, where it seems like it's got some type of chemical gas all the way down it, and the best way to enter this is going to be from the northern portion. You can enter it from the boneyard or the graveyard over here behind the fence, but you'll have to go through a cave and fight with one of those bloodsuckers. But you can end up just going through this way and being able to head to the stash spot, and then just easily exiting on the right side over here, right where this walkway is, and then we'll be able to head to our final stash location. But do be prepared for this one. You will need more than a few healing products, as we will be getting a good bit of chemical burns. We'll be able to dodge some of it by just crouching through, but some of it we'll just have to run straight through, and we're going to take some burn damage from it. So hopefully you've either got some armor with some of that chemical protection, or at least enough of the healing supplies to be able to brute force your way through and grab up our next stash spot. But let's head over there now, starting from the northern portion. Now once you've made it to the chasm, we'll just need to start sprinting on in, as just over here is not going to be one of the locations where we'll specifically be able to actually duck down and avoid it. But if you run straight through, you'll notice we've just passed straight through it. Over on the right side, it won't have any of that. Oh god, it won't have many of those chemical burns. But as we progress through, there'll be another spot where we're going to get hit over here, but you can actually duck over here and you'll end up being able to avoid some of that damage. So if you want to do that and conserve on your healing supplies, you can. But from this point, we will end up just heading straight on in. We've got more of these, buddies. All right, take that out. And then we'll be able to head past this rock over here, and you'll notice we'll kind of hit spots where it's intermittently going to give us either a little bit of burn or certain spots that are just heavily coated in it. But from this point, to grab up the loot, we are going to need to take quite a bit of it, but we will be getting the rubber coating for the KHAROD that we just grabbed up. Try to grab that up as quickly as possible, as well as the Moonlight artifact over here, and getting pretty close to death right there. But at least we'll be able to just jump right on down and be able to duck underneath those chemical clouds and be able to exit from this point. But doubling back to where we just came from, we're just going to keep running back to where those little concrete blocks were that were heading along the path, and we will have one little stash to hit right here that'll give us some resources and healing material. But what we'll need to do is just head over on top of these over here inside of this little tunnel, and then we'll be able to exit out from this point and start heading towards our final stash location. And for our final stash spot over here to the east, we are going for the agricultural workshop, which some people may get a bit confused on how to actually get the loot out of this one. It does seem to be quite a long puzzle to get all the way through, but we're going to give you every step of the way and give you all the information you need on how to deal with the actual poltergeist over here, as it was a good bit of effort on my part to figure out all these steps, and there's more than a few keys we'll need to find. But that being said, we'll be heading over from the west gate, and let's head over there now. Now, once you've made it over to the western gate, we'll head on in and head over to our left. Now, as soon as you do get in here, be prepared. There may be one of those dogs that ends up multiplying that you'll need to deal with that runs outside of this door. And we will have that poltergeist down here putting electrical anomalies out, as well as throwing stuff at us. So do be careful, but as soon as we get in here, we'll be heading over to the left and heading in for this stairway over here. We'll need to head up this and then head across to the right, and do be careful. This thing is going to be attacking you at pretty much every angle. Now from this point, we'll need to pull out the trusty old bolt and head over to our left. We'll have a couple of electrical anomalies we'll need to pop, and thankfully by the time we head over here along this little metal railing, we won't have to deal with that poltergeist anymore. But we will have to time our jumps properly and deal with more than a few of these electrical anomalies. So we'll take those out, head around the corner. We'll have a little bit of loot over here for some resources we can grab up, pop this last electrical anomaly, and then over here next to this body, you'll notice we've got a key to pick up right here. But we'll also be able to loot him. Sometimes he'll have some weapons on them. You can sell those over to the vendor over in Rostock if they are red, if you're looking for extra coupons, but overall it's not going to be worth your while. But from that point, we'll have to head back on out, avoid some of these anomalies as well, and then we'll be... Good God, he just hit me in the back of the head. We'll be needing to head to our left over here, and then head out the door that we came in, and do be careful. He's got all sorts of traps ready for you. Get some healing equipment ready. Goodness, I hate this guy. But from that point, we'll head over to the left, and we'll be heading towards the other building on the opposite side. We'll head up this metal railing over here, and you'll hear the next mutant we'll have to deal with, but thankfully, this guy is easy peasy, especially from the angle we'll have. We'll just need to head around the side of the building all the way to the, I guess, eastern portion of it, and that's the door where we'll get access to be able to head on inside. Now from this point, we'll head to the opposite side of the building, and we'll see a staircase, and this is where we'll use the key to unlock the door. Head up these stairs for about 2 floors, I believe. We'll have some broken stairs up top here, and then we'll be able to head on to the next floor and head over to our right. Now this is where some people may end up getting a little bit confused as to where to go, as we'll just lead ourselves to a broken stairwell that just leads back on down. But as soon as we come out over to our right, we'll need to jump over the railing and then jump right on down here. And then we'll stick right here, as we'll be able to look inside the window and start lighting up the mutant inside and be able to use this as cover, so he won't be able to attack us or take our weapon. So we'll just need to wait, and we'll listen for the audio cue for when his shields go down, and then be able to light him up again and finish him off. And then right then there, we'll be able to just unload, and I think we got him right then and there. So from this point, we'll also need to do... hold on. Let me make sure that lean isn't going. We'll need to duck down or crouch and then jump through the window in order to make it through. And over on our left side, just inside from the window, we'll have another key to pick up over here, as well as some loot, so you can start hitting some of these locations, getting some of those healing products, and making sure you've got everything you need. And then we'll unlock the door on our right just for good measures, but the door on the far end of the room across from the window is the one we'll be going in, and over to our left, we'll have the hallway connecting to the other floor. Now, I would suggest grabbing a shotgun for this one, as we'll need to immediately run in as soon as we open this door, and then start taking on the poltergeist. Now, we will have some of those sharp blades to deal with, but from this point, we'll open the doors and immediately bum rush to the left to this little opening right here, and we'll unlock the door by shooting a lock on it, and that should give us access to the poltergeist. Now, he will start moving around, so we'll need to look where he's going, and thankfully he's a big electric blob in the sky, so we'll easily be able to notice where he's at and take him out, no problem. Now from that point, we'll be heading into the room. I guess we gotta close the door and then open it again. But once we go in, just to our left, we've got another key on the ground right here for an old padlock. Now inside this room, there is a lot of ammunition and loot to grab up, so do end up going through each one of these, grabbing this up for yourself, stockpiling on everything you need. But from this point, we'll head out to the left, and we'll head over here to the staircase, and this key is going to give us the access to the roof, or, yeah, to the roof of this actual building. Goodness. Getting tongue-tied on this one. But from that point, we'll open up the doorway, and it looks like we don't have anything to grab up outside of here. But if we head to the other side, you'll notice we've got one of those limited edition energy drinks right here to grab up, and then a little med kit. And from this point, we'll need to jump on top of the railing, or the edge of the roof, and then jump down on top of this. We will have some shards to deal with, and do be careful. We've got another one of those bubble anomalies on our right. But just over here, our final piece of loot to grab up is going to be the PSZ 9D duty armor, and we'll have a bit of loot inside of that chest as well. And this armor won't be any better than the SEVA, V, or the I that we got previously, but it's definitely going to net you more than a few coupons, and maybe you want to make some type of super tanky build that has maximum physical protection. This could be the one that would end up going in that route for yourself, but at the end of the day, it's always worth it for those coupons. But from that point, we'll be able to grab up a bit more of those resources in the box off to the right, and we'll be able to grab up some loot from the body over to our left as well. And if you want to get down from here, you'll just head over to the left of this body where this little energy drink is, grab up that drink, and then be able to head down on these boxes over here. But that's going to be the end of the Yantar region stash spots. Sadly enough, it wasn't exactly, I guess, the greatest place for stash spots, and I'm still disappointed that there wasn't much over in this boneyard, a junkyard, whatever you'd like to call it. If somebody knows any more of the stash spots that might have been out there that I possibly missed, please let me know down in the comments below, because I was quite irritated by this. Even this little portion right here, you can gain access to this through this little building over here, but it didn't end up yielding anything that was worthwhile for me either. A little bit disappointing. Maybe there's just more things to do down here when it comes down to side quests later on or the main missions. I'm not sure just yet. But thankfully, the loot that we did get from the few stash spots were fairly decent, especially that suit of armor. I'll be upgrading that later on. But let me know how you're feeling about it down in the comments below. And if you'd like to see more content like this in the future, hit that subscribe button. And if you'd like to see some of this content live, hit that link down in the description below. Follow me over at Twitch, we'll be streaming. And on that note, have a good one.